Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel Pigskin Addicts. Back again with another video. So you guys see the title of this video. You guys see the thumbnail. There are a lot of, I think, can't miss prospects within the first about 20 picks, I would say. And that's typical, right? It's typical. It happens every year. There's always can't miss prospects. Some years more than others, right? Obviously, but when you get to the nitty gritty of it, right, a lot of what the NFL draft means is finding value, right? Finding value later on, third, fourth, fifth round, right? Being able to find guys, not necessarily stars, but guys who can contribute, right? Guys who can contribute on winning teams. And guys who are okay, right, within their roles, right? They don't need to be stars. They don't need to be paid the most money, right? But guys who can contribute when you do build a winning team, right? Those guys are equally as important as stars. And to me, I think this draft has a lot of sleepers in it. It really, really does. And I plan on going over more of them as the week and weeks go on. But to me, this guy is the number one sleeper in the draft. A lot of people are not talking about him. It is Sam La Porta, the tight end from Iowa. Let's get into it. So I feel like Sam La Porta is the biggest sleeper in this draft. And for me, I don't know why. I really, really don't know why. He should be talked about more. When you look at the school that he went to, right? Obviously, Iowa. Iowa is tight end you, right? You see George Kittle, T.J. Hawkinson, some of the names that have come out of there within like the past 5 to 6 years, right? Those guys are normally ready to play as soon as they step foot into the NFL. The Iowa program it's kind of old school in nature, right? They don't do a lot of high flying stuff. They kind of play offense, the way a mid 2000s team would play it, right? They are very run heavy. They, recruit a lot of linemen. They recruit good linemen. And if you're a tight end there, you have to block in order to get on the field. Now, Sam Laporta is a different type of tight end, though. He is a pass-catching tight end. He is somebody that the Chargers could use. He's somebody that I think could step in on day one as a Charger and really make an impact. He was rated the number one tight end in the country in all of college football against man coverage. That is a very, very, very impressive mark. And again, when you think about Iowa football, right, you think about them kind of, ground and pound, right? The running game is a big factor. Teams know this, right? So they allocate a bunch of resources on defense, right? They bring down safeties in the box to try to play against the run. And Sam Laporta is a guy that took advantage of one-on-ones. He had one-on-ones against safeties, right? Good safeties who are going to play in the NFL, right? Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, right? Elite athletes in the Big Ten. Sam Laporta was beating those guys one-on-one consistently, and that's why he had a pretty big year in 2022. But I think he is the prototypical tight end for the modern NFL. He is a guy, he is a pass catcher, and that is something the Chargers need, right? And you don't need a guy that is going to be Travis Kelce. You don't need a Travis Kelce, but you do need a guy that is going to take pressure off of the receivers, right? You need a guy that's going to take pressure off of the receivers on the outside, and you need a guy that's also going to take pressure off of the running game, right? When you have a good tight end who is able to get downfield, who is able to challenge safeties, you can really, really run the ball behind that because those safeties have to respect what your tight end can do down the field. And Sam Laporta is a guy that can really, really, really impact his Chargers passing game. Now, when you turn on the film and when you watch film on him, his route running is absolutely outstanding for a tight end and for a guy in college, right? He can run the entire route tree. He can run the entire route tree on either side of the field. He's a guy that you can send in motion as well, too. He's very, very, very good, and he's very sure-handed. I think that is the biggest attribute to me that I look at and I see and I say, okay, this guy can really, really, really impact this Charger offense is his sure hands. We've seen over the past couple of years, right? Jared Cook. We've seen it last year with Donald Parham a little bit. Gerald Everett as well, too. Those guys have had issues with drops from the tight end position. They have dropped a lot of passes, some of them touchdowns, right? Some of them first downs. The drops have been a issue from the tight end position. That is something the Chargers need to rectify. And with Sam La Porta, when you watch him, he is a guy, he makes contested catches, but he also makes the easy catches as well, too. Very, very good hands. He catches the ball with his hands, right? He's not a body catcher. He will catch the ball with his hands. He has very, very good hands, very strong hands. And when he catches the ball, right, tucks it away, and he gets upfield looking for yards. So I think this is the guy that can really, really, really help the Charger offense. Now, I mentioned earlier, too, about the Iowa tight ends, right? You have to block, right? You have to be able to block at at least a very, very basic level to even get on the field at Iowa as a tight end. Sam La Porta, I think he has a little work to do as a blocker. But I think when you look at it and when you actually break it down, right, I can't just say that he can't block. When you look at the tape, when you look at the way that Iowa used him, right, he was pretty much their number one weapon, right? So when it was time to go out there, when it was time to make a play, he was a guy that was split out wide, right? He was either split out wide, he was in motion. He really wasn't in tight on the line. They kind of used him as a kind of wide receiver type, right? He wasn't just playing a standard tight end like a George Kittle or like a Gronk, right? He was being used in matchups. So they really didn't ask him to block all that much. I do think he can be better at it, though. The little clips and things that I have seen of him, he can be a lot better at it. But I think that's going to come with just repetition. He's going to have to get better at it, right? And obviously that's something that he would pick up right away, right, in camp, right? Repetition, 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 right? Just be able to block at a standard basic level, right? You don't have to be great, right? You don't have to pancake anybody, but can you block well enough? Can you get in the way good enough, right? I look back at a guy like a Hines Ward, right? Hines Ward was a receiver. He was one of the best blocking receivers. But when you go back and you watch him blocking, right, it wasn't all that technique, right? It was just him getting in the way a lot of times. Now, sometimes he was a little dirty about it. That's something I will admit. But he got the job done regardless. And I think if you're looking at Sam La Porta to get better blocking, just get the job done. Can you get in the way? Can you impede the progress of the defender? That's what blocking is about. If you're able to do that at just a basic level, right, you're going to be fine. He'll be fine in the run game. And obviously he's going to be a big threat in the passing game. Now, his numbers from the combine look very, very good. 6'3", 245. He ran a 4.59 40. So he's a guy, he can get the ball, he can get upfield. It's obviously not breakaway speed, but at the tight end position, right? If somebody misses a tackle or if you try to, bring him down with the arm tackle and he gets loose, right? He can turn the ball upfield and he can make big plays down the field. So that is something that the Chargers can definitely look forward to if they draft him, right? He's a guy that can make plays down the field. And I think in the Kellen Moore offense, this new Kellen Moore offense, I think that is what is going to happen, right? I think it's going to happen regardless without him. But if he is in the building, if the Chargers do decide to draft him, I think he can make a huge, huge difference down the field. When you look at his tape, right, he was very, very, very good down the field. He locates the ball. He goes up. He can high point the ball as well, too. He protects his body. He is very adept at pass catching, right? He kind of looks like a bigger receiver. That's what he looks like to me. And again, if you're able to work with him on his blocking, if he's able to get better, right, just get to a basic level, right? Doesn't need to be all that super great at it. If he just can get to a basic level in the run game, pass protection, right, he can be fine. He'll be fine as far as blocking goes. But I think he has a lot of skills that the Chargers can use. He has a lot of skills that this offense can use. His route running ability, again, it is really, really, really good, right? I can imagine him and Keenan Allen being on the same side, right? Those guys are going to get open. I think he really, really does fit in with what the Chargers want to do. As far as him being available, I think he will be available at least the second round. I think he'll be available the third round. There are some tight ends that are above him. There are some tight ends that people like possibly more than him. He's in the conversation with a lot of other guys, right? And I wouldn't be surprised, if teams take other guys over him. So I do think that he could be available in the third round, possibly late second round, but he will be available. He'll be there for the Chargers. And I think he offers a lot of value. He offers a lot of value, especially for the way that the Chargers want to play. I do believe the run game is going to get better, but this is going to be a pass-heavy team, and you're going to need a tight end who can catch the ball. You're going to need a tight end who can do enough as far as his blocking assignments go, but you're going to need a tight end to stretch the field, especially the middle of the field. That's something the Chargers didn't do all that well last year, and if you bring this guy in, he can do it, right? He can do it from day one. So to me, he offers a lot of value to the Chargers, and he brings some skills and some abilities that the Chargers don't really have on the roster right now at the tight end position. And lastly, he can provide a lot of production on a very cheap rookie contract, especially if he is in the second or third round, right? You know, his contract is going to be of lesser value, right? As long as he's there, especially if he's in the third round, right? It's going to be a very cheap contract. And to be able to get production out of him for 4 years on a standard rookie contract would be a plus, with the Chargers looking the way that they're looking, right, as far as the salary cap goes. Justin Herbert and his big extension is on the way, right? So you kind of want to be able to get as much value as you can. And to me, this is a perfect value pick for the Chargers. If he's there in the third round, the Chargers should, no questions at all, they should draft this guy because he can make a difference right away. And, you know, you're winning if you're drafting players who can make an impact on your team right away, you know, their first day in camp. So I think he's a guy that can do that. But that is my video on Sam La Porta and him being the biggest sleeper in the draft. If you guys, you know, can think of any other sleepers that you think are sleepers, right, leave them in the comments. I'll go over it. I'm watching a lot of college tape. I'm breaking down a lot of prospects right now, so I can definitely add it to the list if I think that you know, there is a sleeper out there. But that is my video. That is all I got for this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all of my new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to smash that like button down below as well, too. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content. And until next time.